distributing our books. We're from Radha Krishna Temple here in Soho Street, and part of our lifestyle, part of our meditation is to preach about spiritual life. Happiness has to come from within. You cannot buy happiness with money, right? But many people, especially in central London, seem to have forgotten this. So we try to remind the public about spiritual life. The real journey of life is the journey within.
Are you happy?
I'm on the way. I'm walking. I'm on a journey. Yeah, I'm quite happy, but I can tell, I feel that so much is coming up. There's so much more happiness, to discover, because there's no limit to happiness. So yeah, I'm happy. Maybe I can say that I'm happier than I was 2 years ago, but maybe in 2 years' time, I might be even happier.
I've been away traveling for a few months. I just wanted to have a wander around.
Where were you traveling?
I was in Plettenberg Bay in South Africa.
What do you think is the best thing about South Africa for you?
Well, I was working in primary schools with the children, and it was really lovely just kind of having that experience with the kids and how much they wanted to learn. And we did lots of trips. Like I saw whales and sharks and lions and tigers and all that cliche stuff. But it was kind of amazing when you're actually up close to a giraffe and stuff.
So when you're not traveling, what do you spend your time doing?
I was just doing some backing singing work, but I'm not doing that at the moment. I'm actually unemployed.
Can I ask what you're up to today?
I'm going to pick up some exhibition photographs at my printers.
You a photographer?
A painter and a sculptor.
Oh, right, okay. How did you get into that?
Probably after about 6 or 7 years owning a gallery, directing and curating. I had some personal stuff that I wanted to get out there, so I started doing my own works.
What do you try and tell through your artwork?
I've just taken a trip to Sierra Leone, West Africa, for the first time in 27 years, and I documented some stuff. And my current work is on migration, and I was looking at citizenship and deportations. I've been here since I was 9 years old, and I've gone through quite a number of obstacles and triumph in London. And there's a few things that I kind of wanted to say to both sides of the hemisphere in terms of what it's like in terms of life in the UK. So I did a documentary in Sierra Leone. I've done a couple of sculptures and 24 paintings and some photographs.
What was the journey that led you to where you are now on the street, sort of preaching about this?
So I was just like a normal person. I was studying at universities, but I was interested in spiritual knowledge, in philosophy. I was wondering, what is life? Why am I alive? And is there a meaning behind all this? Why sometimes I'm happy and some other times I'm not happy? Is just random? Is chaos? Or is there a purpose? Is there a meaning? I felt deep down within me that I had to discover what was that meaning. So I started reading about Jesus, about Christianity, about Buddhism. I went and visited some Buddhist monks in a temple in Yorkshire. Slowly I became more and more interested in Vedanta philosophy from ancient India. I met the Hare Krishna and I was so convinced that there was something there. So now I'm still exploring happiness, still exploring myself, and the quality of my life has been increasing gradually, day by day.
What makes me happy? Let's see, peace of mind, family, new experiences, and being kind to anybody, everything, and all animals.
So
and a flat white, quite often as well.
Soy milk?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Funnily enough, one of my sort of dreams for the future is to get more involved in either, charity work or sanctuary work with animals.
Where does that love of nature come from?
Well, I rescued a dog when I was living in Brooklyn, and I saw her emotions, her fears, literally her personality. It just made me think differently about animals in general, and dogs aren't even the most intelligent animals.
What I like about London is I like the architecture and I like the history and I like the psychogeography of the place.
What do you mean by that?
Well, psychogeography is where you read the signs on the street. You just read the signs. You go through London and you lay your own imagination of London, the London of the mind. You lay it onto the landscape of the city, and then fiction can become reality.
So, how has been your experience of London today?
Well, there's definitely a buzz in the air today. It's a little bit cooler. There's a little bit of dampness in the air. And so this is affecting the atmosphere. There's a definite atmosphere. People are affected by the weather, and so as people walk around, they're emitting a certain energy because they're affected by the weather. They're also affected by the light on the buildings. The light as it hits the buildings, it all emits a different light.
What do you think is the biggest difficulty for someone migrating to the UK?
A lot of people don't really understand. They think it's easy to live here, it's easy to earn money, and it's easy to grow a family here. But there's a lot of I wouldn't say issues, but there's a lot of barriers. There's a lot of situations that again you need a lot of love and support. And it's a tough one. It's a tough one. And for me, being of African origin, I actually want to change that flow of migration to say stay where you are. I'm feeling like Africa, or where I'm from, Sierra Leone. They need to retain their talent, because people that are just coming here because it's a better world and it's a better place to live in terms of standard of living and opportunity and infrastructure. How the hell are you going to build your community and your country where the best of you are just coming over here and you're paying a lot of money to come over here, and again maybe you might not have the lifestyle that you're looking for, and the people again stuck here on this immigration cycle that can't get out and can't achieve what they want to achieve. It's a difficult place for them to be in.
Is your goal to get to a place where you are just happy the whole time? And does that place exist?
Yeah, that's everyone's goal. That's everyone's goal. You might not be aware, but everyone is looking for that goal because everyone wants to be happy, not just once a day or once a week or once a month. Everyone wants to be happy every time, all the time, every day. And of course, that definition of happiness, that ananda, that bliss, contains peace, contains self-satisfaction. There's no happiness without peace. The problem is not happiness, the problem is the way we look for it or where we look for it. It might be that few people, or some people, look for it in the wrong place.
What do you think is the key to happiness?
Not having a phone. I haven't had a phone for 4.5 years. And I haven't drank alcohol in about 2 years. Naughties in about 3.5 years. No smoking in about a year. It's having a clean life.
How do you get by without a phone? How do you meet up with your friends and stuff?
Well, I don't really have friends. But I have a lot of acquaintances. I know a lot of people. I've been active in London for the last 12 to 15 years. I'm very sociable. I've got good energy. Honestly, it's the best thing I've ever done. It keeps me well balanced in terms of my income and outgoings, and it keeps me really grounded in terms of my home life. Like now, I finish, I go home. I might check my emails twice a day, but not too much. I go on walks. I go on walks like every evening or mid mornings. And I'll go to Liverpool Street, I'll go to London Bridge, I'll go Stoke Newington, but I stay within my area. And through that, I make friends, I have conversations, I have interviews. Not having a phone, look at that bloke there, just like this, and maybe even like meeting you today and where I go and where I walk, where I navigate, it's all divine, and I feel a lot more enriched with it.
So you're not Christian, obviously, but
I was born and raised Christian. I still follow Jesus. So that's a label. If you want to call me Christian or Hare Krishna or Hindu, I leave that up to you. I'm very inspired by Jesus. We follow Jesus. Jesus was a real devotee of God. I feel I'm more Christian now than I was when I was Catholic, because I was born and raised Catholic, you know?
What do you think of Christmas?
Christmas, you mean Christmas is a nice occasion for us to remind Jesus, to remember Jesus, glorify Jesus, his appearance. Christmas is the birth of Jesus on earth. All the rest is not of interest. You know, the capitalistic approach to Christmas.
All the shopping today.
All the shopping and the cinema and the movies and the money. That's just a business. That is misleading. Still, if we buy something because we love someone and we want to make a nice present for that person, and we do it with selfless devotion, selfless love, that is good. But we can do that every time. But yeah, it's good to glorify Jesus' appearance, Jesus coming on earth to spread the message of love of God, and that is Christmas. That's a good Christmas. That I want to be part of that celebration. Yeah.